We are live.
Senate Education Committee at CVU back after a tour of the school, and now we're engaging in a really key part of the day, which is the student panel. And you're gonna, I know you have a discussion amongst yourselves with us listening and asking questions afterwards. But we'll introduce ourselves first.
I'm Steve Heffernan from Madison County District, and I live really close by, Bristol.
So Madison Senate District.
Yeah.
Senator Keisha Rom-Hinsdale. I am your senator. This is my district. It's nice to meet all of you. My husband graduated.
And my name is Seth Formgard, so I represent the Bennington Senate District, so Bennington County, and a couple of towns in Woodland County. We won't spend time with more than that, so tell us about yourself. That's what we're here for.
I'm Allison Gutierrez. I'm from Heinsberg. I'm a junior at CVU.
I'm Summer Tagugliamo. I'm a freshman and I'm from Shelburne.
My name is Ethan Saintmore. I'm from Williston and I'm a junior.
My name is Lydia Ashate. I'm from Williston and I'm a senior.
My name is Jim Mercier and I'm a junior and I'm from Williston.
I'm Parker Kearney. I'm in 9th grade and I'm from Williston.
Okay, what town did you say from?
Williston.
Williston. Okay, yeah, good. Well, you have the question, so you're doing your. We've seen this before, so we know how it works.
Yeah, I think we can just jump right into the first question. Do you have at least one adult in the building that you feel comfortable going to if you need help? And is that person a teacher, an advisor, an administrator, or a staff member?
I feel like I can start with this one. I think that my advisor is definitely someone that I feel comfortable going to. I've had 3 advisors in my past 4 years because they keep retiring. And even though I've had 3 different advisors, I feel like I've always had a great connection to all of them. And I feel like CVU does a really good job of pushing for that connection. We have like one-on-one meetings and like we have a good like bonding time. And I feel like that's something CVU does a really good job with. And so because of that, I feel like my advisor has always been someone that I feel really comfortable going to. And, like my parents as well, like they know that I have a really good connection with them. Yeah, I agree. I think my advisor is definitely like a safe place for me within the school. I've had the same advisors throughout my high school experience so far. And I think advisory is definitely one of like the positive things about CVU and really helps build connections like throughout all grades.
Yeah, I also think that my counselor, which is Snelling, so Gavin, he like helps me through schedule and stuff, but like he's also just like knows me personally. I feel like after like, we like make my schedule and he's come into my health class to talk about suicide and stuff. And I feel like he's just super friendly in the halls and like I don't know, I just feel like he like made an effort to get to know me on like personal level. And even though I've only like actually met with him once, I feel like really comfortable around him and stuff.
Yeah, for me, like, my advisor also, Gavin's another person that I feel like I can go to if I need help. But then also, my club advisor for one of the clubs I lead, CVU, when we don't have advisory, we have what's called C3. And we have a lot of really amazing clubs that anyone can be a part of at CVU. And so the club advisor in the club that I lead, like what Summer was saying about with Gavin, he's always made an effort to really get to know me as a person. So it's made it really easy to feel comfortable like going to him and reaching out if I need anything.
I trust my advisor and my math teacher partially because I'm already friends with his son, but yeah, I feel like I can go to them when I need help, and yeah.
For me, it's my teacher and my counselor. Whenever I have problem or looking for job, they help me to search or see if this job is good for me or for my health.
Yeah, and skipping down to the third question, how do your teachers try to get to know you? Something some of us touched on a little bit, but just for me at least, like, I feel like all of my teachers at CVU, they've all done a really good job about like in the start of when I have them as a teacher, doing activities where we can get to know each other as students in the class, but also we can know the teacher can know us and know more about us. So then it makes that transition into the class easier. And for most of them, they follow up with that. They continue asking questions about your life, what you did over the weekend. A lot of my classes, we have attendance questions in the beginning so we can learn from each other. I think that's something that's really powerful when it comes to getting to know teachers and peers.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I also feel like, because we have the PM Connect at the end of the day, it really allows for like further connection with teachers. And I feel like throughout like my experience at CBU, like when I see my teachers in the hallway, they always make an effort to say hello. Like everyone, I feel like all of the teachers I've gotten to know truly want everyone to succeed. And that shows through how they treat people.
Yeah, I agree. I also feel like it goes both ways with the students too. Like I feel like all the teachers put in effort, but they have so many students. So like I feel like if you're looking for that like really personal connection with your teachers, then it's also like your job to like reach out to them, PM Connect, see if you need help. Like I think that this school set up so like teachers really are interested in getting to know you and engage, but you also have opportunities to like put in your part and stuff.
I agree. I think that's one of the ways CVU differs from like a traditional high school. I feel like a lot of the teachers like really make an effort to try and get to know students, whether it's add on to what you said, whether that's like asking about like your personal life, like how like your weekend was, or like, you know, what you were doing in like other classes and everything. I feel like the teachers here have always been really giving with that sort of thing, and they've always really wanted to have a connection with the students. And like what you said, the students also want to get to know the teachers. So I feel like it's a really good two-way street. And yeah, I've never like had any issues with like me not knowing my teacher well enough or like not having a good connection.
I feel like the teachers always want to get to know the students a lot, but it also largely depends on how much the students tell the teachers about themselves, and the students are equally as responsible for their relationship with their teachers as the teachers are with the students.
For me, it's like when I have like a question and when I can't solve, so I will quickly go ask my teacher, and after that, if I finish to figure out what is it, and then I can go back and put some questions, and after that we can see through my teacher tell me like show me like some stuff for math because math is very hard for me. So sometimes she helped me to do some math, and then
Yeah, I mean, connecting back to what Summer said, I feel like it kind of like transitions into like one of the questions about opportunity. Like it really, the opportunity to be successful in CVU is completely out there. It truly is dependent on what like each student's ability to like want that, I feel like. And like
Yeah.
actively like try for that.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of there's opportunities for anyone at CVU, regardless of what you're interested in or what you're passionate about, to get involved and be successful, whatever your definition of successful is, because I know that's different for everybody. But there's so many opportunities that not only the teachers provide, but the school itself with Rise, C3, like I said before. And yeah, like I agree. I think a lot of it depends on how willing a student is to kind of seek those opportunities. But teachers are also there to support that always, if you don't know how, or encourage you to take those steps. I think we can look at the fourth question. Just, I know we're all in different grades, but where do you picture yourself after high school? If you have an idea of that, yeah, I can go first too.
I can go.
Okay.
I'm a senior, so for me, I see myself attending a four-year university under some engineering degree. And I don't know how detailed I'm gonna get. But yeah, that's the plans I have right now. And
I definitely do like want to go to a four-year college and stuff. For like career-wise, like I don't really know yet because like I haven't taken like classes that really point me in a direction where like I may love, but like I definitely feel like I'm gonna try to take like principles of finance, maybe like some business, like I don't know, that kind of interests me, but like I'll see because also want to take some sciences. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go to college, maybe in like the business or psychology route.
I haven't thought about this much, but maybe I'll go to UVM and study law there a bit. I mean, hopefully I'll be outside of the high school though.
For me, was electrician and like fix small things like I usually fix things at home like table if it's broken I fix it or the door or fix like the lighting the house if it's broken and I fix it.
Yeah, for me, I also want to attend a four-year college. Again, not really sure where or what, but I am like, as a junior, I feel like this is the time to really start taking those steps, and that's what I'm starting to do now, is figure out what and where I want to go and what my interests are.
Okay, are you thinking of going to the CTE when you're like junior CTE program or? Yeah,
So that you have some apprenticeship years under your belt.
yeah.
So the next question kind of builds off of that one. What is the most important thing that CVU could provide for you so that you are more likely to have a successful future? For with the younger students, what would you guys want? And what push do you need and like what are you more interested in to help you find that like successful future? Because you mentioned that.
Yeah, I just feel like definitely help with your counselor on like creating your schedule so that number one, you can try different things, you know, see different classes, but like also just so like you can like help build on like what you know that your interests are. So like I mean, like, I don't know, I just feel like ability to like take classes that are kind of like going down your path, which like I know as a freshman, you don't have a lot of choices on which classes you can take, but that's why electives are like super important. So yeah, just like help with what classes to take and stuff.
I don't have much to add on to that. Like, I feel like there should be like some guidance on like what classes to experiment with and oh you can try this. This might be fun. And yeah.
For me, first is I have to talk to my counselor and ask like if I like this class and see like oh the this one might fit my future. First, before I choose that class, I will have to ask my teacher, my counselor to explain to me good what is that class like. It's really like is it mean for like and explain if is it good for something that we have to go with it.
Yeah, I have felt like opportunities have been really, just like opportunities as a whole have been really crucial in helping me find like a solid like career path for my future. And I think that, like you guys said, like I've found a lot of success with like my classes. I've been able to take like a lot of classes at CVU that like interest me. But like the thing that gave me the major push was being able to do like opportunities like over the summer. I've done like programs and that I found like, through the help of my teachers and my counselors. Like I went to GIV and I done like a couple college programs. And those are really helpful for me to like become successful and for my future. So I mean like besides or on top of classes, I feel like just those like outside of school extracurricular opportunities have been really important for me.
Yeah, and I think it's important that teachers are like first of all like aware of those and that they showcase that to the students because I'm sure that many students would like love to do that.
Yeah, and for me, like I'm in a class called Nexus right now where you can kind of pick your own project and do what's interesting for you. And I've tied my Nexus project to figuring out what I want to do as a career path post high school. But I think like I love that class and I think it's been very valuable to me. Just the only thing like I wish I knew more about it sooner before I was a junior, so I had either more time to kind of like have an extension to what I learned, or had more of a basis sooner, if that makes sense. So just like hearing about the opportunities and like what you were saying, I feel like I don't know a lot about some of the classes that I'm taking before I actually take them, and I end up enjoying them, but I don't always know that it's an opportunity or what that opportunity could be like until I'm in that space.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I feel like part of that, like, at least like for me, I feel like it's kind of hard because like there's like not that many guidance counselors for the amount of students that they have to take on. I feel like I've built a good relationship with the counselor that I had, but I feel like it's hard to like know about everything when they have so many people that they're like thinking of and meeting with,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
And there's also so many opportunities for students that I think the guidance counselors, they have to, like you were saying, keep in mind all the different students, but also all the different opportunities that like this student might be really interested in this person might be interested in that. Like it's a lot for them, I would imagine, to try to think about. So we don't always hear about some of those opportunities as soon as we may have liked, or from the people that we may have wanted to hear from.
Yeah.
Did we circle back to like number 2? Because I think we skipped over that.
Yeah.
I feel like school helps me belong in the way that, like we're allowed to have dedicated times to be with our friends, like clubs and PM Connect. And then the teachers actively like try to help the students. So if you fall behind, it doesn't feel like you can't catch back up. And yeah.
For me, like was how they make the rule for no school, no phones, because that helps me like to make friends before. For my second year, I wasn't having friends because if I'm trying to talk to them, they're just like he's on the phone, not talking to me. If I'm talking to them, they just ignore. But this year, I made a lot of friends because nobody who's focusing for something, just like going classes or we meet in the road, we talk. But before was just to gonna see a student who's walking by using just a phone. If you're trying to talk to them, you just to go. But this year, I made a lot of friends because of the rule no phones.
Yeah, I agree with like the phone ban. Like I said before, I'm a leader of a couple different clubs, and like seeing the difference from this year to last year, I definitely see like we all engage with each other more, interact with each other more, and though it's not always like necessarily productive towards what the club's goals are, I still feel like we've had a lot more opportunity to engage and create that sense of belonging because we haven't been like there were some points where I could be like texting my friend who's in the same room as me, and it's like those we don't have that anymore. And it kind of forces you to talk to people that you may not talk to normally. And I think that's really cool. And then also like again, just the clubs that we offer at CVU. I think there's a space for everyone that they can come in and feel like they belong and like be an active part of the CVU community.
I agree with everything everyone said so far. Especially with like the club piece. I also am a part of different clubs, and I feel like I don't really know what the comparison is like between other schools, but CVU has a lot of clubs to offer. And I feel like all of them are like great spaces if like you're interested in really great spaces. And so all 4 years of my high school career, like I felt like I've always had a club that I felt I belonged there, and that was super important for me. So I mean, if anything, I'd have to say it's just like the amount, the clubs and the spaces that CVU has to offer.
Can I ask a question? it's always great to see the percentage of students who do feel like they belong or feel connected between home and school. Can you put yourselves in the shoes of people you know who you feel like maybe would answer that question differently, that they don't feel that sense of belonging? What does that sound like to you when you think of people who are struggling to belong?
Like the first thing is like language, because that happened to me like for the first year when I was here. I was speaking only like African languages, like 5 languages African, but I didn't know how to speak English. So like when I was trying to talk to people, some people would just like ignore and say, I may not speak, like I may not understand something that they're talking about, and just they walk away. And I think that is happening to my friends. So they like always speak the Spanish language. If there's somebody who's speaking Spanish, and then they will try to like connect to be like friends with that person, and like and little bit focusing in English class.
What helped you? Was it being in language classes with other students learning English, or what helped you feel the sense of belonging?
For me was NLC club. So like is my counselor who ran that club with her daughter that she's already finished to graduate. So they would come in our class like in for us after first blog and C3 or and then they're gonna take us to go like in the class in the club, and then we're gonna meet new people there, we talk, and that is how I started to build friends.
Mercy, can you say what the club stands for?
It's stand for for language words like for N1, for New American and New African, yeah.
It's New American Outreach Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think like what you were saying, it is a lot of like the clubs. I think being a part of those clubs and whether someone offered it to you or you got involved, I think that's the best way for someone who's like not feeling like they necessarily belong at CVU. Like, I think that's a really easy space because I mean, CVU's a huge school. There's so many people and it's so hard to build connections. So being in a space where there's 20 to 30 people, it's a lot easier to build those connections. And I also get it's really hard to like just join a club without your friends. And like it's a lot easier said than done, but I just think that's the best way to build connections and kind of eliminate that feeling that you don't belong.
You're talking about clubs in the school during the day.
Yes.
Right, it's part of the curriculum.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a really great question that you had asked, and that's like a whole new perspective that I'm thinking about now. And I definitely agree with you. I think it's really crucial to take those like first steps, those like uncomfortable steps into joining just any club. Like there's there's actually like so many clubs here that like just like taking the first initiative to like join a club, even if you feel like at the moment you don't really belong. I feel like any student could gain the feeling of belonging by just like joining this like intimate space of like 20 students. Like that happens like every week. So I feel like just like slowly like that buildup of like time spent could really help someone feel really like important.
When you join a club and find you might not find a fit, is it easy to switch to another club?
Yeah. So there's 3 blocks of C3 every week, and so that means like you can join 3 different clubs. And if you don't feel like one's a fit, it's super easy. Like just the next week, you're able to talk to your advisor and have them switch you out of the club, and you can just join a new one.
One thing I would say is challenging about that is that a lot of like the clubs that a lot of the clubs fill up kind of quickly. I feel like they're like throughout like like every year, there's been like at least like one club that I've really wanted to be a part of, but it was already filled up, so I haven't been able to. I mean, obviously I found like all the clubs I'm in right now, I really enjoy and like, so it all worked out, but.
You know, I don't actually have a sense of what the club, tell us about like 5 or 6 of the clubs, what do they do? What are they?
So one club is like Seeds, which is,
Yeah, does everyone like go around and say
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
part
I
of the
do.
clubs they're a part of?
Yeah.
so I'm like a half member of Seeds. Like I was a member, like freshman and sophomore year, but now I'm a bit busier, so I don't go in there as much, but I still feel like a member.
What's the acronym?
SEED stands for Students Encouraging Equity, Diversity, and Success.
Yes. In that club, it's kind of like, it's just like very like much of like, feels very much like a community. Obviously, CDU is a very white dominated area, and it can be hard like looking around the hallways and not seeing a lot of like representation. So I feel like when I would go into Seeds, it's like it's a place where I'm like, I know that I'm understood. I don't have to explain why that thing that someone said was offensive. They know because they feel it too. What about our club I'm in? I'm in Women in Business. That club, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of how to explain it. It's like kind of like think of like random like marketing things. It's like a fun, like lighthearted club. I'm in for education, which that club we're trying to get women's education, yes, into the curriculum. We've done a lot of work with that. And then I'm in restorative practices, where we're trying to get more restorative practices to be used in CDU.
I'm also in the Her Education Club. That was really fun. And I'm also
This
in,
is a good opportunity to lobby. I'm the only woman on Senate Education,
Yes.
so
yeah,
you did find me, but you may want to tell other members of Senate Education what your aim is.
Yes. So we are, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So throughout my high school sort of like years so far, it became apparent to the person who started the club, Amelie, that women's education is not a required course. And there is no unit for women's history throughout the whole high school curriculum. There is optional classes that you could take in your junior and senior year, but you know, people might not even know that they would be interested in that because it's not offered prior to that. And people not being educated on women's history, like as a whole, there's so many like downsides of that. Like just with like, you know, like microaggressions, like sexism, things like that. You know, like I think there's so much power in understanding how things are the way that they are today and understanding your history. So the fact that, you know, a group that has been sort of, has been like not an equal member of society in the past, the fact that so many people don't know how women gain that right, I think is disappointing, and it's a thing that should be valued and it should be a required course. So we're working on getting that into the curriculum, hopefully for maybe like 10th grade humanities classes, and yeah, that's our goal.
Any other clubs we find interesting?
So one of the clubs I lead is Racial Alliance Committee. So we kind of,
It's still there with the.
yes, it is still, RAC and Seeds both do exist, yeah. RAC, it's a lot more like kind of action and like we work towards a specific goal. Right now we're like working towards repainting a mural in the school. So it's a lot of like outreach to the community to reach a specific goal and educate people. I'm also part of restorative practices that Ellie talked about super briefly. Last year, like we all worked and we did something with every school in the district where we had training about like what restorative practices was, kind of help us set some goals on how we could bring it into our school. So we're continuing that this year on how we can implement restorative practices and kind of the structure into CVU. And then I'm also a part of Culture Club, which is a more like lighthearted. Every week someone brings in a different food that we try and we learn about where that food comes from. And then we like geography games, like fairly lighthearted and fun, where we can learn about different cultures and parts of the world. And then there's a group that we're like just starting. We don't even have a name yet. But it's not an official C3 yet. We're hoping to kind of get it there. But it's about mental health and just kind of encouraging people to be kind and working together that way.
Yeah, I am the leader of Seeds, like Ali mentioned. It's a really amazing space. And in the midst of like a lot of the academic and like, focus clubs at CVU, it's like a really like amazing, it's a really calm and like a space that a lot of people like connect, and a lot of people from like different diverse backgrounds can really like engage with one another. I'm also the leader of the Women in STEM Club at CVU. So we do a lot of fun activities and learn about different experiments. And we also we do a competition. We go to BTSU, and it's like a bridge building competition. So we make a bridge out of popsicle sticks, and like we spend like a couple months working on it. Last year, our bridge held up like 300 pounds. Thank you. And so, yeah, I'm also a part of the Threads Club at CVU, which is kind of like a Harkness club. And we're trying to get that like people more comfortable with like speaking and like these like kind of public spaces. And I'm also a member of the Robotics Club at CVU.
We were trying, like me and my teacher and other students that we have same class in COD. So we were trying to create like a club that called World Dancing Code. Like you pick up the music like from around the world, and then like you play that music and invite people to come. You dance like a music you listen from around the world, and we tried that one day, and we see a lot of people playing. We was doing then we were trying to plan to do it again next year.
I do yearbook club, which is pretty self-explanatory. We just make the yearbook. I also do music and puzzles, where we listen to music and do puzzles. And I'm also in class council, in which right now we're trying to plan a winter dance that might actually end up happening in April rather than winter.
I know that we were talking about like how you like what makes you feel belonged in CVU, and I just wanted to make sure we went over like the four cores for ninth graders, because that's definitely a huge way that like freshmen can feel welcomed into such a big school. So there's 4 cores: Snelling, Nichols, Chittenden, and Fairbanks. You're in Nichols, I'm in Snelling. And that space has definitely helped, I think, a lot, if not like all students, feel pretty welcomed into this big school. I know Snelling in the beginning of the year, we had Snellingville, which is just like instead of class, you just get to know people. And all the teachers like within class, like we have like assigned seats and it like rotates. So you get to know like everybody. And so like, even if like the clubs that you are in, maybe you don't find some connections, you have like your core, and those teachers also know you on a personal level. And I just think it's like a really good space to like feel like seen and stuff.
Do you ever feel like finances can create a lack of belonging? Like there are things that are harder to do if you don't have the money?
Something I've always noticed CVU does is that there's always like a little note that like says that like CVU offers scholarship money, or like for all the field trips or the RISE trips that I've gone on. That's always been something that has really been pushed to the front, that like money, and even through like the emails that they send about opportunities, that's always on there, that like if money is not, or if money is a problem for anybody, that like they can take care of that. And so like I feel like it's a really big priority that CVU like pushes out there, that like money should not stop anyone from participating or having the same opportunities as everyone else. So just for like publicity wise, that's always up there. I'm not sure about the more like internal.
Are any of you athletes?
Yeah.
What sports do you do?
Indoor track and outdoor track, but it's not happening right now, yeah.
Yeah, I did some CU soccer girls, and I'm gonna try to do some tennis in the spring. I found that that was also a really good community because the sports, at least the fall sports, usually start before the school year. So like I already knew some like sophomore, juniors before like going into school, which is also really helpful when like trying to like feel like the school's not as big and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I also do indoor and outdoor track. And there's a lot of people and it's a big team, but it's easy to like, I wouldn't say it's like cliquey, but everyone kind of has their own groups and we all get to know each other a lot, especially in indoor track if there's less people. We all, like, if you're a sprinter, you're with the sprinters every day for practice and you get to know each other pretty well and we play games and do different activities. So, yeah.
I did soccer in my 10th grade. So that's when I meet like a lot of like some new students. I meet them there. We played soccer, and that's when I started to make like when I started to make a lot of friends. Was like when I started to play soccer at CVU.
I'd like you to go to the last question. We're running out of time to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, this is something that like it ties with both the second to last and the last question. Harkness, which is what we're doing right now, like conversations where we're sitting together and like having conversations. Some of them are tied to academics and sometimes it's just like candid conversations about not always a certain topic, can be about really anything. Last year, like Lydia and I were both in a class that about Harkness leadership, and we were like trained in Harkness, how to facilitate, how to like have these conversations. And I don't know that that's really came up besides like being in this format. That's something that like I found a lot of value in last year, and then that carried into this year. It wasn't ever a thing that I had thought about or like a space that was offered in really middle school, and then we started doing it like freshman year to kind of get that basic level knowledge and understanding of how to do a Harkness discussion. And then last year I got the opportunity to really like elevate that. And that's a space that I found really valuable and it's helped me in just about all aspects of my life and school and my relationships, things I do outside of school. So yeah.
Are you saying you wish there was more forums for discussion?
I wish yes. I think like we have a lot already and they're super, super valuable. And, but I do wish like there were more spaces or at least like not thinking so much about the high school, but I wish I'd started doing them younger because I feel like a lot of people, especially when I look back to freshman year doing Harkness discussions, I think a lot of people kind of like struggled with the fact, like being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so I just wish like we have a lot of opportunities in CVU, having them sooner so you're not as uncomfortable coming into this space.
So like public speaking and or speaking in a forum together just to get used to that, not necessarily having the forum be about anything in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sitting down and getting used to talking to each other.
Yeah, like
in public.
Being an advisory, like having a circle in advisory and just everyone like in this circle format. Either it's like we go in a circle or people just kind of popcorn share out, having conversations, even just like about your weekend or what you did, like regardless of the topic. I think it's super great and starting hard conversations, but also just those simple ones sooner is something that I
favorite candy bar start out with. Something
yeah, exactly. Like
then get into diversity that gets a little bit more emotions and get
yeah. So like when there's something that like maybe happened in the community, something hard that like we need to talk about in a circle, it's not as uncomfortable for people to be in that. Like they're familiar with that space and they know it, they're used to it.
Yeah, I really agree with Ethan. I think one of the, like, when I was a sophomore, I was in the Harkness Leadership, which was like a class during C3, and we would like get a humanities credit. And in that Harkness, I kind of started to learn that like, because freshman year when we would do Harknesses, a lot of people, it kind of felt very like ungenuine. Like people would say things or talk, but no one was actually listening to each other because everyone was just saying things for a grade. And joining a Harkness group where it wasn't for a grade, it was all people who were actually interested. It gave me the opportunity to talk to people that I maybe wouldn't normally talk to. I think CVU has a lot of great communities, but I feel like the communities are kind of like everyone has their own little group, like maybe a little bit cliquey, you know, which I mean, maybe it's not a good thing, maybe it is a good thing, I don't know. But I feel like Harkness really taught me to really like everyone has a different perspective, but everyone's voice is valid. You can learn something from anybody, and I feel like Harkness can really teach that to people. So I think, yeah, like learning those skills sooner could be very, very helpful.
Are there any classes that are hard to get into or that you're worried about losing because of budget cuts or?
Some of the AP class options, I think, for me at least, I feel like
Say more that they're pretty booked.
I just know that like there are some that aren't offered anymore, which is like just kind of like disappointing because I'm not a very like sciencey and math person, but I'd still like to take AP courses. Right now I'm taking AP Human Geo and AP English, and I think there's AP Gov, but other than that, I could be wrong, but other than that, I don't know if there's like an AP class that isn't science or math related. Is that?
Yeah, a lot of classes, and non-AP classes as well, have, like, a handful of them have taken a blow recently because of the budget cuts, and I've heard a lot of people, a lot of underclassmen as well, talking about them and being like really disappointed. I feel like it's sad for, like, the underclassmen are not experience high school the same
So
opportunities.
no AP Econ, no AP Psych,
AP Bio, no.
no AP Bio.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I know there's like people like when we were freshmen, Allie and I and you also, when we were freshmen, that they had like this whole plan of they wanted to take this class this year and like kind of what a plan for what class they wanted to take, and then after our freshman year and then the year after, some of those classes continued to get cut, and they kind of had to like shift what they were thinking. I didn't like plan that far ahead of what I wanted to take, but I know were people who were really bummed out that they were like AP Bio, like they couldn't take that class anymore when they had really wanted to for 2 or 3 years beforehand.
There's been like a lot of disappointment voting in like the school about everything and the teachers as well. And so the alternative options for students to maybe like take a class at UVM that they would then have to pay for and like drive out of their way to go to, and then like it cuts into like your CVU class time, and it's just been like a lot of like uncertainty around all of that. So yeah, just to answer your question around things.
Almost time to go, but do students understand when, say, that class only had a class of, say it was only you, 6 that were interested in that class, and that the school decided, you know, we have to stop this class because we don't have enough students to make it valuable to the school to dedicate a teacher to that. Do you think that the students understand that when that happens, or do they just look at it, I'm having something taken away from me that I really wanted to do?
I think for some classes that's understood with classes that aren't as popular, but I think for the classes that a lot of people were maybe hoping to take, when those get taken away, it feels like there's a lot of interest there and an opportunity is lost where there was interest. People did want to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Even if there wasn't a lot of popularity within the class, it's still like 6 students who have like the interest of taking that class. Like,
I understand that
Yeah.
part of it, but like everything has a cost, and that's what Vermont's running up against. Everything has cost, and there's gonna have to be people that make that decision of what can be continued to be taught and what's not. And it's a hard, like I said, it's, some people are like, well, it doesn't matter what it costs, we should spend that money on it. But everything, as you're learning, has a price tag on it. And if you can't afford that price tag, I guess it's something maybe a top down needs to express to the, really know this is what you wanted, but we can show you why we're not able to offer that.
Well, AP Econ was life-changing for me in high school. Maybe if I had AP Econ, they'd understand that.
Yeah, I will say, like, I think a lot of people do understand that, but it's a mix of both. Like, they understand that it was cut for a reason, but we're also frustrated that it was cut. And I also think, like, a lot of people just kind of understood it on their own, and there wasn't someone saying, this is why that class was cut. And, like, I don't know, there wasn't a class that I was, like, dying to take that was cut, but I know it just hasn't seemed like a lot of communication on why this class was cut for this reason. And if you're still interested in this, you can go this route, you can do this. Like, I don't know. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of that, if that makes sense.
So better communication from the leadership down would help students of understanding why, what is happening. Rather than just doing it, we should explain why we're doing it. Is that
Yeah.
what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
And also maybe more involvement of like how these choices are being made. Like, I don't know how each class was chosen to be cut, but maybe more communication of like what people feel like is more valuable. So what, like, I don't know if that makes sense, but more like communication when the decisions are being made about class option.
Good feedback. And I think we're about to transition to lunch, which we want to make sure you folks get to. I really appreciate all 6 of you taking time out of your day to come in and talk with the senators. Is there something you wanted to
No,
do?
just to say almost the same thing, but thank you so much. We've done student panels and schools have been visiting, and it's really perhaps the most important part of the day for us. To hear firsthand what's working, what's not working, what you wish, and all of those things together. And so this was really valuable, and for each one of you, thank you so much for coming.
And good luck with everything working.
Yeah, and thank you for, like, giving us this opportunity to let us. Yeah.
Our
All that.